On today's IRS tax update, with the start of the next tax season almost a week away, we are beginning to receive reports of the IRS accepting a limited amount of e-file returns. So we will explain why this is happening before the official start of the tax season. Meanwhile, for those of you who may have your e-filed tax return rejected by the IRS, we are going to highlight the top reasons why this could happen and what to do about it. And for those who were eligible yet never received those economic stimulus payments, we will take a look at what you need to do to claim that money before time runs out. Now, with just about 1 week to go until the official start of the tax season begins on January 29th, we already are getting reports that the IRS is accepting some tax returns. Now, this is happening due to something called hub testing, where the IRS is carrying out test batches on the system to ensure everything is working properly before the official start, and will start accepting a limited amount of tax returns as a result. At this point, whether or not your tax return is accepted by the IRS before January 29th is completely random, and it does not matter which company you use to file your tax returns with. Now, if you file your taxes early and do not see any update, that is perfectly normal and is no cause for concern. As a reminder, if you're claiming either the Earned Income Tax Credit or Child Tax Credit and you file early, your tax refund will still be on hold at least until mid-February due to the PATH Act. Now, if you do file early and yours is not accepted, it simply will sit in the processing queue until the filing period opens. As a reminder, for those of you claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit and/or Child Tax Credit in particular, those of you claiming either of these credits for the very first time, it is important to note that due to federal law, the IRS cannot process your tax return and issue you that tax refund until at least the middle of February. Now they are prevented from doing so by federal law, or what is commonly referred to as the PATH Act, which is meant to give them time to validate the claims for those particular credits. Now, for you early filers claiming those credits at some point, you will see the message as seen here when checking the status of your refund on the IRS website explaining the situation. The IRS has indicated that they expect the first batch of refunds containing the Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credits to be released on February 27th, and as we have seen in past years, the majority of those early filers will see those deposits in the first part of March. As a reminder, due to the IRS computer system, only a certain amount of refunds are contained in each batch transmitted, so that is why these refunds are sent out on a staggered schedule. Every year, we get reports from our viewers who encounter the message as seen here, that their tax return was rejected by the IRS. Now, this is a fairly common situation, and many times can be a fairly simple fix. The most common reason we have seen for a tax return being rejected is that the tax filer has accidentally entered the wrong Social Security number for either themselves or their spouse if filing jointly. Each year, there are millions and millions of simple data entry errors on tax returns, so this is a very common problem. Other top reasons you may see your tax return rejected is that if you are claiming a dependent, the wrong name, date of birth or Social Security number entered was incorrect. We have also seen returns rejected for those missing an identity protection PIN, whereas one is required. This is especially important for those who have been victims of tax identity theft. Another reason, however, this one is not as easy of a fix is those who are claiming a dependent on their tax return, but the dependent in question was already claimed on someone else's tax return that was previously accepted by the IRS. Unfortunately, this is another commonly reported issue where custody of the dependent or dependents is split among two parents who both attempt to claim on their tax returns. If you find yourself in this situation, unfortunately, this may take some time to resolve, and the IRS have rules in place for this very situation in making a determination on which tax filer can in fact claim the dependents in question on their tax returns. As a reminder for taxpayers who attempted to claim the employee retention credit, that the IRS has rejected 20,000 claims for that credit and have been sending notifications to those impacted that their attempts to claim the credit have been rejected in the form of the 105C letter, similar to what is seen here. Now, back in September, the IRS announced an immediate freeze on processing new ERC claims, citing the high number of improper credits being claimed. They have been thoroughly reviewing claims for those credits received prior to their announcement, attempting to identify those erroneously filed. And currently, Congress is proposing legislation that would end ERC on January 31st. If you were eligible and never received those economic stimulus payments in 2020 and 2021, and did not go back and claim that money through the recovery rebate credit in the following years, you are not alone. It has been reported that there is still nearly $5 billion in unclaimed recovery rebate credits remaining, which may impact almost 3 million taxpayers. Now, while the majority of those did already receive those stimulus payments, there are plenty of others still out there owed money and may not even realize it. Round 1 of payments was up to $1,200 per adult in April 2020, followed by $600 per adult in December 2020, and a third payment in March 2021 of $1,400. Now, if you have not received a check, you will need to claim the recovery rebate credit by filing your 2020 taxes if you did not file for the year, or file an amended return claiming that credit for those 2020 tax year payments by May 17, 2024. Meanwhile, to claim the 2021 payment, you will need to file your taxes if you did not do so for that year, or an amended return by April 15, 2025. It should also be noted that there are still taxpayers out there who did have a payment sent to them by the IRS, but they never received it yet, took no further action. If the IRS did send an economic stimulus payment via direct deposit or check that was never received, you will need to initiate a payment trace with the IRS to see what happened to that original payment. This will not be done automatically, and even as just recently as a few months ago, we had viewers report they were still waiting on those stimulus payments. On the topic of our last video of companies charging people to file their taxes, one of our viewers reached out indicating the major companies like H&R Block, TurboTax, and TaxAct wanted them to pay between $30 and $40 to claim their Savers Credit, also known as the Credit for Qualified Retirement Savings Contributions, using IRS Form 8880. We can report that at least one company, Free Tax USA, does not charge taxpayers to file for this credit and to consider that as an option. Let us know in the comment section below about your ongoing tax issue. In the meantime, we will keep monitoring the situation for further developments, so make sure to click on the thumbs up and subscribe button below for future updates on this channel, and thanks for watching.